Welcome back to Likras. Today we're working on Parshat Yisro in Chumash Mos, the book of Exodus. So here we're going to talk about Shabbos. So the Torah discusses 10 commandments about keeping the Sabbath. Torah says, Sheishes Yomim Ta'avod. For 6 days you will work. Torah doesn't say merely you're licensed to work. It says you will work. Now, there's a Gemara that says, the Rebbe Yismach Moshe notes, that Mishatar Be'er Shabbos Yochel B'Shabbos. The person who works Erev Shabbos, if you prepare yourself for the Sabbath day, get the food ready, so then you're able to eat on the Sabbath, on the Shabbos, because you're not allowed to cook on the Shabbos, so you have to prepare in advance. That's what the Gemara says. Prepare first. Now, the Rebbe Yismach Moshe takes this Gemara a step further and says, not only is it talking about the physical eating, the obvious understanding of the Gemara, it's even talking about, as well, spiritual development. If a person wants to really experience Shabbos, you have to prepare in advance. Don't just wait for Shabbos. Prepare. We find, in fact, in the Torah, in other places, that achil and shtia, the eating and drinking, really refers as a hint to a spiritual experience. So therefore, if we look at the verses this way, so it says, do everything first on the first 6 days. Then, on the 7th day, when it's Shabbos, you'll be with Hashem. This is when you don't have to work as hard as you're working before. You feel the connection to Hashem. And this is a very high level. Those people who truly experience Shabbos as a commune with Hashem. So if we look carefully at the psukim, we find that the psukim seem to separate into two. The beginning, this pasuk says, Sheishes Tamim Tovod, Vasis Kamalechtecha. It's talking to the individual. You, the individual, will be working 6 days, and then you'll have Shabbos. And the pasuk then says later, the same verses say that Lo sa'aseh kamalacha ato vincha bitecha avdcha amasecha. Pasuk says, don't do work on this, implied on the Shabbos. You, your son, your daughter, your male slave, your female slave. It seems to be indicating everybody separately. Before it just said you individual, and now everybody's separate. There's you and your son and your daughter separate. So the question is why? Now the simple understanding, of course, is its emphasis. You keep Shabbos, and then we have a list. You means everybody. You, your son, your daughter, your male slave, your female slave, all have to keep Shabbos. That's a simple understanding. And this context that we're taking the hint from the verse about working the 6 days to mean spiritual development, so there's two people. There's the person who's, the individual is on a high level, and he experiences Shabbos. And that's why the Torah says, individual, you work at the 6 days, you keep Shabbos. The end that says, don't do work, and it lists everybody separately, because not everybody's on a high level. Some people, they keep the laws of Shabbos, and they're not fully experiencing the spirituality of Shabbos. They're not on that level, so they don't fully experience it. So they don't have this. So both are true. There's Shabbos for the spiritual sensitive, spiritually developed person who took the time beforehand to prepare himself, and then he's able to experience Shabbos more fully. And there's the more simple Jew who keeps Shabbos, keeps the halachas, but he didn't work first, and he's not spiritually developed. So then for him, the Shabbos is much simpler. For him, the Shabbos is not doing work, but he's not going to get that spiritual connection with Hashem. Why? Because he didn't prepare himself for that, and he's not working on it. And without the work, it's just not going to happen. So Shabbos has two levels. The simple level, very important, very nice for those people at the simple level, and the advanced level. For somebody who's working harder and trying to grow in spirituality and trying to connect to Hashem. And we should listen to Yismach Moshe and try to move forward our experience of Shabbos to be on that higher spiritual level.